Hey, what's up, fam? And welcome back again to Recap Kickback. And this is Recap Kickback presents Interview with the Vampire Season 1. We are going to be talking about Season 1, Episodes 5 and 6 today. And we have a lot to discuss in the world of Interview with the Vampire. If you have been following along, you know that I've seen the show before, but it's been a long time. And so this has been a refresher for me. Some of these more interesting moments, I would say. But with me, someone who is discovering Interview with the Vampire Season 1, Episodes 5 and 6 for the very first time, our vampire enthusiast, Mari Forth. Mari, welcome back.
Hello, I am glad to be back. Yes, we are officially in the territory of what I haven't watched. Again, if y'all are wondering why, as a vampire enthusiast, I did not watch this the first go round.
Yeah,
One,
why?
it was on AMC Plus.
Yeah,
That was one streamer too many. Even with Chappell trying to sneak me a code, it was one streamer too many. Okay, y'all, it truly was. Waited till it got to Netflix. Somehow season 2 happened. I don't know. Life. I had a baby.
Life. You had
Shut
a
up.
baby.
Don't judge me. Like,
yeah. You had like 2
now.
babies. You had 2 children. You know, in the time that this show has been out, right? Like 2, right?
Has it been that long? Oh yeah, 2021. No, yeah. I had the first. I've been had that first one, but yeah like
he was there.
He was there. Yes, exactly. So it's you know, if I had watched it then, you probably wouldn't be getting this now. So say thank you to me.
Well, thank you, Mari. I am so happy that you are watching this. Like I have been forcing other people to watch it. Ariel, our good friend over at the Crying Laughing podcast, who talks to me about Grey's Anatomy, he now watched Interview with the Vampire. He's been texting me about it. And Brian Scally also has now completed Interview with the Vampire at my urging and also bullying. And so I'm going to make sure everybody watches the show. I just love it so much. And so we got to get into our most recent 2 episodes. A vile hunger of your hammering heart, and like angels put in hell by God. Now, in our YouTube comments, youtube.com/@recapkickback, you can let us know what you think about the show and what our podcast. And we did get a couple comments last time. Someone pointed out, I think it's Mel 7088-Z5Y, that the episode's titles come directly from Anne Rice's novels. And then T Dolly 8347 says, points out a question that we kind of talked about last time, Mari, which is, we kind of talked about how Claudia calls Louis dad, but then calls Lestat Uncle Lou. Uncle Lestat, Uncle Les, whatever. And of course, there are a number of reasons why. And that comment says the smartest reason for Claudia to call Louis Daddy Lou and Lestat Uncle Les is that in the 1920s, if a teen black girl accidentally called Lestat any versions of Daddy, white New Orleans would come burn down their house. Besides, Lestat didn't want Claudia and would reject her calling him father anyway. Plus, also something else we discussed, Bailey Bass was 18 when production started. And so, we talked about that. And I'm so happy that we got more nuance to that conversation because you're right. It's the 1920s. This little black girl cannot be walking around with this white Frenchman just willy-nilly. And we will see there are other faux pas that are going on in the 20s and 30s that might be frowned upon heavily by the community in New Orleans. So if you also have feedback or you want to leave us a comment, please make sure you go and subscribe to the podcast. recapkickback.com/subscribe or youtube.com/@recapkickback. You can leave us a comment on our recapkickback.com page or right here on YouTube so that we can see it and read it on the podcast. Mari, you've now seen 5 and 6. I have to ask, I just want to gauge how you liking the show so far.
Oh, it's really good. It's just like a lot. I was like, Jesus. Like, and again, as somebody who, loves vampires, love vampire lore, why do we have mopey vampires? Like, if you're a mopey vampire, you are just doing something wrong.
Calm down, Lestat. Calm down. Okay, Mari's in her Lestat bag here. I am a Louis apologist right now. The man is depressed throughout these entire 2 episodes, basically, because when we last saw him, we talked about this a little bit. Louis made Claudia And it wasn't because Louis needed family. He kind of made
Mhm.
her because, like, well, it wasn't because he wanted to save her. It's because he needed family. He wanted to make somebody to be a companion to him because he was basically in a loveless relationship with Lestat. He was ready to leave him. And then, like many failed relationships of the present and past, trying to fix it with the baby don't quite work all the time. And so, Louis is
Don't quite.
Louis is happy when Claudia is around, but when she is not, he is unhappy. In fact, he's miserable. And some would say he might even be a hostage in his own home, Mari.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like Lestat, Lestat bringing on Claudia so that Louis can have something to live for, just for Claudia to go and for Louis to be depressed for 7 years. Lestat, I don't understand how he put up with it for 7 years too.
That's
Like,
what that's the
we
well,
do
we know
find out
why.
how he
Side wife. He had a side life.
which again, this is all sounding so super familiar. Like, how are y'all?
It's like, y'all, this is the same old shit, same old fucking shit. You
Same,
know,
yeah, just with vampires.
with vampires. I love it. It's so messy, Mari. I love it so much.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, it really is a hot mess, and these 2 episodes, like, were a lot, but I do like the character study within the 2 episodes of all 3 of them and how all 3 of them face their eternity. You know, they will all be here for until further notice. So they're all really handling their dark gift very differently. Um, so yeah, it was very interesting, and this is so far away from the books. So it's there's no like roadmap as to what's happening. I mean, the next episode, I'm pretty sure they're gonna pull that from the books, but like yeah, this is so interesting to say the
It's
least.
so good. It's so good. So
Yeah,
you mentioned that it's a character study. Let's talk about these characters. And I want to start with Claudia because she is
yeah.
going to be the centerpiece of like all the drama for the most part in the Louis and Lestat household. Because she was brought in as Louis's companion. You know, like don't get me wrong, Lestat is Louis's companion, but he was feeling down. He had lost his brother, he had lost his family. He could have saved her. She will point out in this episodes, you could have just taken me to the hospital and I could have just been a normal
Very that.
girl growing up with
Mhm.
with whomever, but and I probably could have lived a relatively normal life, but you went above and beyond to make me a vampire against my will. I didn't ask for it, didn't even know it was a thing that could happen, and now here I am stuck with you, and I'm stuck in almost like this prepubescent, like child's body, and
Mhm.
she can't figure out what she's supposed to do. How does she find love? How does she move forward when she looks like a little girl and is going to be treated by by society as a little girl for the rest of her life? It's going to be very hard for her to find a mate.
Yeah, but that's the thing, I was like, "Is it though?" Like, okay, you got a little overzealous with Charlie, you know what I'm saying? Like, you had just been turned, you're a fledgling, so, your snack dies, that happens. Like, I think she gave up a little bit too much on just, like, finding somebody to kinda just spend some time with for a little bit, like, what happened to dating? Like,
What
this is
happened to
why
dating?
this is why Louis and Lestat are in this situation. They decided
Hmm.
to turn each other after, Lestat decided to turn Louis after what, like knowing him for a few months. Like, girl, just date around for
Yeah,
a little
let her
bit.
feel, Look, she been out there having sex, Martin, but it's unpleasant. Because of her vampire
Right.
healing ability, she like, is it always gonna feel like this?
Yeah, yeah, that is very unfortunate. To say the least. Yeah. But again, you know, she doesn't have to go straight to I need to find a permanent lover. You guys aren't helping me. I'm mad at you guys, type thing.
Well, losing Charlie definitely sends her. She's the first one who goes into a depression.
Yeah.
She is in her coffin, not eating, not
So
talking
they
to
think.
anybody. Yeah, well,
Mhm.
so Louis thinks Louis dropping off dead pigeons in her room and breaking their necks. Like, come on out, leaving food by her door, things like that. And Lestat is completely unbothered. He's like, she's probably sneaking out at night eating anyway. And we find out that she's not only sneaking out and eating, but she is a legit serial killer, Mari. And she's doing serial killer stuff. She's taking trinkets. Yes, talk about it, Mari.
She's taking souvenirs, trophies, if you will. She's killing people. She's taking thumbs. I said fingers, and then a whole breast at one point, a whole left breast, I believe it was. Yes. So, and the block is hot because she wasn't burying them in a great place, because her burial ground ends up becoming flooded and the bodies wash ashore. So this gets Louis and Lestat actually into some hot water, because the police are going to look at the weird guys who, air quotes, who live together, and everybody knows what they like. So yeah, sure, the block is hot. And then on top of that, and then when the police come to check, not only does she have those trophies, she had a whole person in her closet.
Well, she's in her boudoir. Yeah, in her boudoir. She's so active. She really is. Like, guy falls out the wardrobe, but there's so much to unpack there. First of all, burying the bodies in New Orleans is so bad. It doesn't matter where she buries them. Look around, Claudia. The city is full of crypts that are above ground. New Orleans is below sea level. You cannot do that, because when the water comes in, these bodies are going to rise out of the dirt. And so, out of the mud. And we found out that there were 56 bodies, 56 that they could find, that have floated up. Yeah. And so, unfortunately for Claudia, that's going to be bad. But also, while she has been running around doing her, her secret murder spree, Louis and Lestat have read her diary, and they know about all the killings. They know about everything she's been doing, but every negative thing and thought that she's been writing down about them too. So it just adds another layer of tension on top of the disdain she already had for them, because they're able to have love with each other, and she kind of feels like a third wheel, or like almost like that, like I said, like a failed band-aid at keeping that relationship together.
Exactly. And like we do get in the present time with Daniel Malloy and
Rashid. Oh yeah,
yes. But like her diaries, she was writing down basically the last thoughts or the last words of her victims, like legit just serial killer-ish. And then she again feels lonely, so she was actually trying to turn other people. And so they don't give a real good reason as to why she can't turn other people. I believe at this point it's been at least 5 years since they had turned her, at the very least.
Yeah.
And I would venture that she just does not know how to control her magic in a way to become somebody's maker, or sort of saying. Because the timing doesn't really matter. Like, if the vampire is crazed enough, they could turn people. But I think when, we know when Lestat turned her, she was half dead. So, she might not really know the ritual. And she might just not be powerful enough, like overall powerful enough to do it as well. So, you felt bad when she starts naming all the people she's trying to turn and stuff like that.
Yeah, she's trying to find her boyfriend forever, a forever partner, and she's been killing a lot of them on accident, because she's been trying to make them vampires and failing. Lestat will tell her it's because you're weak, you're small, you're scrawny. The bully really comes out of Lestat in these 2 episodes for sure. Yeah, not a great look for Lestat. But let's go back to the present day of it all. Daniel Malloy is such a fascinating character to me. This man, he's like, I'm about to die. I was asked to do this thing, and it's almost like he doesn't want to be there. But at the same time, he really, like, he could leave. I think he could leave. I don't know if like Louis would just kill him, but he could leave. but he's there, but he's like, while I'm here, I'm going to point out all the awful things that are involved in this, because Louis has done a good job of romanticizing this story
Yeah.
in the past. And now that Daniel is looking at the book, the diary, and hearing all this stuff, he's like, so, I mean, yes, this is your daughter, and she's going through something because she's a vampire and she's going through puberty for 10 years by herself and is very lonely. Cry Me a River, she killed 56 people. And
Right.
when this book dropped, people are going to know that was that's a mass murderer. And Louis is not okay with that. He's like, look, I'm giving you the opportunity to basically clean this up. You know, I'm telling you about Claudia, but I do not want her exploited. I don't want her story told like this. In fact, he's even torn some pages out of the diary to make sure that the more gruesome parts of Claudia's life don't end up like in front of, you know, or the I guess the like subject of this novel that is sure to be such a big deal, right? Like if there's an actual vampire that you can point to with historical facts that you can cross-reference in the moment with bodies and names, Claudia is going to be infamous if this book is written, and Louis not having it. So there is that one moment where um where Daniel is diving in a little bit more into some of the pages that are ripped out of Claudia's book. We will see that she goes off to college. She leaves. She's like, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not doing the Lestat thing. Good, congratulations. You have fun with your boyfriend. I'm leaving. She goes to college, runs into another vampire. And at first, she's very happy about that. But turns out that vampire is a sinister being and not in a normal vampire way. Like he's sinister and then he's also like trash. And so because of that, she gets abused and raped by that vampire, we will find out. And those are the pages that are torn from the book. And those are the pages that Daniel has questions about. And instead of just answering the questions or showing Daniel the hidden pages, Louis will go and use his magic to almost like threaten Daniel. He makes his hand jump up and down on the table. But Daniel does the most curious thing of all time. After being offended by this action, he stands up, he walks over, he slaps the hell out of the vampire.
Yeah. And so I was kind of interested in what Louis did per se, because we know, I believe Daniel has what, Parkinson's? Is it Parkinson's? Yeah. It felt like he exacerbated his condition somehow.
Like tremor type feel, like
Yeah.
he turned it up a little bit.
He turned it up. Yeah. I mean, Danny has balls. I don't know.
He ain't no bitch.
He gets up and he smacks Louis, but 7 years is how long she's away. And I'm like, dog, even as a vampire, I was hoping, I was like, oh yay, she found somebody. It's like,
no, men still trash sometimes, you know?
Yeah, very that. Just really
Gross.
like we're still we're just essaying people just off rip. Sure.
Not great.
Okay. No.
No. Don't let it. 7 years, Mari. She's gone for 7 years, and in that time, she is traveling from college to college, and she is reading up on vampires. She wants to know more and more about basically the rest of her people. She's like, it just can't be these two losers. I need to find somebody. Right.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And so you're the enthusiast here.
Yes.
You know, American vampires happen, but like it seems like Europe is where she needs to go.
Yes. I mean, the lore of the vampire, the original, like Count Dracula, that Transylvania, that's all like that Eastern European, like that is the thought process of the original Dark Curse or the Dark Gift came from Europe, which honestly, y'all, that just makes sense since Europe's been around for thousands and thousands of years and America's been here for 250, so like or 400 or whatever it is. So it's just like, it's just, it makes sense that that's where the roots would be in the older part of the quote unquote civilized world. So it's like her doing that research and trying to find their roots, trying to find like a higher meaning of it all. It makes sense, it makes sense.
Yeah, and trying to find more meaning, but also trying to find a companion. Like maybe she will go
Yeah.
over there and there'll be like another vampire who's stuck in a 16-year-old's body that she can find, or somebody who maybe like that someplace she can fit in. I think right
Right.
now she's kind of like, I gotta find myself and what my people or something. And in that time she does a lot of dirt. She's out here killing people, but she's
Mhm.
also doing a lot of research, and she's coming very knowledgeable about what it means to be a vampire, just based on, like you said, historical precedent. So while she's gone, it's 7 years of misery for Louis, who is in this loveless marriage. And I, like I said, I'm a Louis defender, but I also kind of have to wag my finger at him a little bit. Louis, if you're not happy, then you need to leave. Like, what is this?
Exactly.
You
Again,
you
right. Just mopey, just doing nothing, not having no fun. Like she and honestly, I mean, well, I was gonna say she's a vampire. What's gonna happen to her? Well, something did
well,
happen to her, but she's not dead.
she
Like,
alive.
I don't know. Yeah, she's alive. Not it's not good, but still, like, I don't know. And again, it's just like if I'm with Stat, I'm sitting there like, this is what I signed up for? Like
That's literally what he was doing. Yeah, he was like, "You drag me into your gloom." Like, damn, can I live?
that he did sure say that. Like he's like Louis Armstrong is playing and Louis like that just doesn't care. I'm like, get up. Like, do you understand? If I'm a vampire, I am not sitting around letting my place turn into Grey Gardens. I am having fun. I am biting people. She'll be all right. She'll come back like she did. Like, I don't know. That was a waste of time. 7 years like that. 7 years, dog. That's too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, this is tough. Also, before she left, Claudia does drop a bomb on the entire house by saying, it's crazy that I can't find love for myself, but Lestat loved two people. He got love everywhere.
Yeah.
And Louis in that moment finds out or realizes that Lestat is still in a relationship with Antoinette, that singer that we saw him with earlier on and throughout the show.
Right.
Yeah, and so not great.
So by the time Claudia comes back, that's like he been with her for like 10 years at this point, right? That has to
Was it
be.
Yeah, well, it was again, she left after that initial bomb drop. She goes away for 7 years, comes back, and of course, Lestat's like, oh, I'm not with her no more. She gives her a finger that's got a ring on it that's like, look, it's Antoinette's finger. She's dead. Only to find out that she is also still not dead. So yeah, it's at least, this is like a damn near
Oh my
marriage.
God. I'm
How
trying
long?
to. Right. That's why I'm still trying to like get all the years that kind of
At least
flew
10 years. It's
by.
at least a
Yeah.
decade of managing two relationships.
Because, all right. So, because when Claudia leaves the first time, he's with her.
Yeah, he's with her. Yeah, at that point.
Claudia,
But he says he gonna kill her, but we know he doesn't.
but no, not the first time. Because when Claudia comes back,
No, he lied the first time and said he was gonna kill her. So what happens is, she's telling them like, "I'm gonna go find other vampires. Da da da. This ain't fair. And by the way, it's not fair to me that you get to have two loves and I get to have one." Lestat's
Mhm.
like, "I'm gonna kill Antoinette." Louis rolls
Oh
his
yeah.
eyes. Yeah, and
Mhm.
then watches Claudia basically pack it up and leave. She
Mhm.
goes away for 7 years, comes back, and then yeah, we find out that Lestat's still lying about being with Antoinette after the 7 years.
Right. But then he goes away for 6 years.
Oh
And he's
yeah. Well,
and
still,
she's
still,
there.
still, still.
Hmm.
Yeah, she gave a finger for him. That's love.
Which which was stupid because I was like, y'all could have just got a regular
A
finger instead.
random finger,
A random finger.
it's like, how was Claudia supposed to know? Put a ring on that finger and give it away, and it'd be like, here you go, this
Yeah.
is her. Wanted to make it realistic, I
Stupid.
guess. Yeah.
Mhm. Mm.
So a lot of drama, a lot of mess, just living and like cohabitating with these three vampires. Like as we talked about, Claudia leaves, and eventually she does return after 7 years because she's been following Louis, and Louis has been going through. She will see that he's very, very sad. She's been following Lestat as well, but she's been keeping a close eye on Louis. And we see that Louis's sister Grace will finally come over to Louis and kind of put their relationship as sister and brother to rest by having a headstone and a crypt basically built for Louis to show that he's dead now. The Louis that she
Yeah.
knows in existence, and now she can move on with her life.
Yeah, which was very poignant and, good for Grace. And at least he's staying away from her, even, yeah, the same city. I think this was closure that he needed, even though it's not what he wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what hurts Louis. That was the driving point into getting Claudia. Is Louis wants family. He wants connection.
Mhm.
That's all he's known his whole entire life before the dark gift was a family. So um and I think seeing that is, like you said, is what brought Claudia back. Her understanding, she says it, that she understands that she was there for him.
Yes. But Claudia returning does bring some more attention to the household because she
That was
shows up. Yeah,
crazy.
Mario, when I watched it the first time,
Mm.
I think I don't know, I don't even know if I was I think I waiting on a week to week, or I don't know if I was binging it or what, but I remember the space between watching that fight and the next
Mm.
episode was way too long. I was like,
Ah.
we just gonna live with this? Like the fact that we had to watch this domestic violence like this, and then we gotta wait a week for the next episode to come out. Crazy. So basically, upon
Nasty
Claudia's
work.
return, she decides that I'm your sister now. Like that's kind of how we're gonna approach this. We're not gonna do this kid thing. And Claudia and Lestat are going back and forth. They can't seem to get on the same page. Lestat will eventually attack Claudia, causing Louis to come to her defense. And then we see Louis get the life beat out of him and the reveal of Lestat's cloud power. Were you surprised that Lestat could fly?
No. No, it was kind of funny. I thought we had seen him do that before already. But no, I'm not surprised. He's a very much an older vampire. Um we know of his other gifts. He seems very strong. I was not surprised that he could fly. It's true that not all vampires could fly, but the really old powerful ones can. And he seemed very old and very powerful.
Yeah, and this is incredible to watch. The fight is like one of those, like, Marvel fights, how they're like knocking through
Right.
bookshelves and through buildings and things like that. Like it was like the Hulk. And Louis is beat, like he beat the hell out of him.
He
He
did.
fly he flies him up into the air, Mari, and then he asks him, Louis, do you even love me? Because these last 7 years, you've been acting like you don't want to be here, and you could just release me by saying it. Just say the words that you are unhappy, you don't love me, and you just want to be with Claudia. You're gonna pick her over me. Louis does not say the words, but he does say, "Let me go," and so Lestat does.
Yes. And so again, this very weird and visceral character study here, because like again, the whole time I'm like, yo, Louis is so mopey. It's 7 years. Lestat, just leave. Like, go have
Mhm,
fun without him. But it was this moment where Claudia is confronting him that his mask drops, right? In a sense
mhm,
of Claudia's like, Lestat's just throwing jabs, and Claudia's like, he's scared. Listen to him. He's scared. Come with me. Leave with me, Louis. Let's go. And you just see Lestat get more and more agitated till yes, he attacks Claudia, but then attacks and beats Louis because of how much he loves him. He says, you do not love me the way I love you. And this is in this moment, it's you realize all his feigned nonchalance is really an act. He hasn't gone anywhere in 7 years because Louis has him. He
mhm,
is obsessed with Louis, and it kind of takes you back to Louis' creation, right? Like,
mhm,
how Lestat was kind of like slow rolling the seduction of giving him the gift. And the moment that Louis tries to break free from him, that's when Lestat does the full court press to give him the dark gift, to convince him that he wants the dark gift. And then as soon as Louis turns, it's that kind of buyer's remorse. And that's the Lestat we're seeing here. the Lestat that is so broken and so wants Louis to pick him, wants to walk this great I forget what he said in that one episode, but the thousands of years with Louis, that's what he wants. And Louis just does not want the same thing. And it culminates in this very, very domestically violent scene, which is so like it's like right,
It's so
like it's
gross.
too much. I was like, oh my god. So it was great while it was also bad. Like,
Yeah. Louis been alive for a while in the present day. Do you think he has the cloud power now?
what did he told Malay that he didn't, right? I believe.
I don't remember if he said he didn't definitively, but he was kind of like most vampires can't do it, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
But I was just wondering from like your like he's been around for a long time,
It's
like I.
it's been about, yeah, like 100 years or so.
Mhm,
He could. It could.
mhm,
It's mostly about like training and harnessing your powers.
yeah, yeah.
He might not though, because normally you train, you harness your powers by like fighting, hunting, like that type of thing, like really training up. So
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a little soft when it comes to that.
This toxic relationship, I mean, has reached its peak toxicity at this point because not only was Louis a victim of domestic violence, a gruesome domestic violence that would have literally killed any other, human.
Yeah.
Like he could have been dead. But he's injured, he's battered, he's bruised, and he's fed up, or at least we think, because like many of the abused, he goes back. He accepts Lestat's apology eventually after about a decade of Lestat. I think it's 7 years
Six
again.
6
6 years.
years. 6
Yeah,
mhm.
6 years of Lestat kind of doing his baby please, one, take me back, like doing, all of the 90s R&B songs that we love so much, like Lestat is buying Rolls Royces and books and gifts, and Claudia's doing her best to block it. He tries so hard, but Louise is getting softer and softer and softer. And in the present day, he's telling Daniel Malloy, well, like, yeah, I took him back, but like, I mean, aren't we all just the sum of our worst moments? Like, is that really? Am I supposed to just judge him because he did that one bad thing to me? I was like, Louis, stand up! What are we doing?
And even Malloy called it out. No, officer, he only did it the one time. I can change
God.
him. Like, oh my god, that rolls though. That car was bad. That was
And he had matching Rolls Royce. He said, I got you one and I got one in blue. I said, ooh, the
I'm
style
like, that's
points.
clean. I
Let's
know.
get some style points for that one. But
Uh,
yeah, it's incredible to me because yeah, we are watching like a legitimately just toxic relationship. It has been toxic from
legend.
day
It's
one.
been. Mhm.
Yeah, and they have their good moments, they have their bad moments, and then they have this where Louis should not go back to Lestat at this point.
No.
Louis should
Mm-mm.
not have used his depression as a weapon against Lestat for 7 years either. But now, they're in a point where they have a break. They could break in theory, right? But Lestat himself is a very powerful being. I don't think the show really gives it to us at first, but eventually, Mario, by the time these 2 episodes are over, it doesn't actually look like Louis and Claudia could leave. If Lestat wanted to be in that house, he'd be in that
Mhm.
house.
Exactly, right? It's like he is literally holding back. Like he's holding back. We Luis says it. He's holding back his powers, so that they could feel like they're on equal footing, but they're really not. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? They're really not. It's like the abuser to flex his power when he needs to, and when he's not, he's placating you. He's making you feel like you have some power of choice here, and you really don't, and that's kind of all of what this is. um but he does get Louis back because he writes a song for him, but has Antoinette
Toxic,
sing it.
toxic, 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 what are we doing? He has a recording made, like a literal record made of him singing. It's his own singing voice. And then on the record, this Valentine lullaby ass song that he made for Louis, this love song that he made so personal to get the love of his life back. He uses his mistress's voice, and Louis picks up on it. And I'm like, Louis, this is it. It's over. Be done. Be done. But it was the perfect amount of prodding, right? It was the perfect amount of prodding. It was so specific of like a trigger that Louis couldn't stay away. He literally swam the Mississippi to get, I mean, it sounds romantic when you talk about it. He swam the Mississippi to get to this man, Mari. I don't support this. Don't support this
exactly. It's like I cannot support this at all. Just for you guys to go back to a toxic cohabitation, you know, of just existing next to each other. It just doesn't. It's not good. This ain't good.
This is not good. So now they're in love again. As Daniel Malloy will say, lover, murder maker. It's this relationship, and now, you know, they have rules. You know, Claudia's like, he can come back, but we got some terms and agreements that we have to adhere to. And Claudia says, number one, I ain't your daughter, I'm your sister. Number two, you got to kill Antoinette. I'm not doing that no more. This cheating, this side chick thing you got going, that's been going on for 20 years. Because Daniel Malloy pointed out that Lestat kept the cloud power away from Louis for 20 years. And we saw Antoinette episode 1, I believe. And so, or episode 2.
I know it was at least episode 4. I can't remember.
Oh no, she was early on, because I think she was when they remember. I think they had like when he first started to court Louis, she was kind of like the middleman for that. They could hang out in public because she would be there at the bar.
Oh really?
Yeah. I think at that one like bar that Louis owned, she was there.
That wasn't the light skinned one.
No, they had her. They she been dead. They had moved on to Antoinette after that. Yeah, but like I think by episode 2, I think we knew Antoinette, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I know she was there by 4, because 4 was when she was singing and they were having the issues, and he legit was like, yes, I dabble with her.
Yeah. She's been around, and so So yeah, 20 years of keeping this secret. And so Claudia's like, I'm done. We're not doing that anymore. No more secrets amongst us. And we're going to live as a happy family finally. We know that is not the case, because just because Lestat is back does not mean him and Claudia are going to play nice. They actually are going to take a lot of pleasure in torturing each other throughout.
Yeah, such weird energy. We're playing chess, throwing jabs at each other. The stuff Lestat was saying to her, I was like, geez Louise. Like, yeah, just cutting remarks between the two of them. And I'm like, why would you want this? Why would anybody want this for the thousands of years?
Louis is happy that the two people he wanted to be around the most are in the same space. As long as he can have them both in the same space, he don't care. He's like working on them, like, oh, Claudia, forgive him. You got to soften your heart to him. He's trying. And Lestat is like he's like going to Lestat, like, you got to be nice to her. And Lestat's like, she's a brat and all this other stuff. And she's trying to poison you against me and all this other stuff. It's so bad. But Louis is in his own little like happy place, his own little Pleasantville in his mind. Got his daughter.
He still doesn't look happy.
This cannot be happy. It can't be real happiness, Mari. He's like, he's in a make-believe delusional world, right? Because these people are constantly bickering around him while he's trying to act like everything is normal.
Like this is not happy. Like, I'm sorry, Louis. This isn't happy. He does not look happy. It's like he's trying to tell himself he's happy.
Yeah, for sure. And the city of New Orleans is also not happy. They've been trying to get them up out of there for a while. So when the bodies started coming up, they were the number one suspects. In fact, they even had a plot to sneak into the home while Louis and Lestat were talking to the alderman at a bar, and like raid the house to find out what the hell has been going on in there. While in there, of course, Claudia is frantically hiding the body parts that she had way back when. And they are able to avoid, persecution for their crimes, even the crime of homosexuality, because we find out they're like, hey, y'all sleeping in the same bed, and that's weird for New Orleans in 40. And so they're like, yeah, you could go to jail for that, sir. So the city been sick of their shit for a long time, and now we're seeing people like literally like doing like voodoo outside their door. Like
Voodoo
every time they
outside,
come
yeah.
outside, yeah, there's like a circle and a doll. So nobody is happy.
Right. It's like y'all have been there for so long. Y'all don't think nobody's gonna notice y'all, like, and y'all stand out.
Y'all
You
stand
know?
out. Yeah.
So I'm not surprised. Like again, vampires don't normally stay in one place that long, and if they do, it's their own like kind of compound or community type thing. They're not just mingling amongst the humans for large stretches of time.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because there is a moment where Lestat is saying, like, Louis, maybe we should just leave. You know, the two of us, when
Yeah.
Claudia's gone, he's like, we should go somewhere. He's like, we could go to New York. We could go to here. We could go to there.
LA.
Yeah.
Go.
And Louis says,
Go
Paris. And
nasty.
Lestat says, no, not Paris.
Right.
We ain't going back to Paris. We ain't doing Paris. Look, I've been to Paris. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I've never been. It is on my bucket list.
I'm going
But
again in a
like, and yet
Yeah.
I didn't get an invite. It's fine. It's cool.
You busy with all your stuff that you busy with, but that's neither here
Obviously.
nor there. Lestat's like they don't take the I guess the hint and leave, right? They decide y'all just gonna have to deal with us, and that the city does. They just continue to kind of work around them and pretend that they don't think that these people are at the very least hella weird.
It's actually really cool to kind of like subtly see the changes in the city. Like again, mentioning the cars now, like when the first episode was like horse and buggy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The roads are paved now. The fashion is different. It's so interesting to kind of just see the subtle changes as the story progresses.
Yeah, and there's been a big change in the family structure now because Claudia and Louis are basically in charge, and Lestat is being treated like a dog. He's like, I don't like this because now I feel like I have to walk on eggshells around y'all so that I can be accepted. And Claudia's kind of like, yeah, you
Yeah.
dropped this man from the heavens and tried to kill him. Like, what?
Literally.
You
Broke
on
all
probation for
his
life.
vertebrae,
He
broke
was
his
blind
vertebrae,
in one eye.
blind in
Yeah.
one eye, broke all like bones in his legs and arms and stuff. He was looking like Family Guy, like just like
Yeah, just knocked out. So,
yeah,
so we do find out that there is a little bit of tension as well, like between Claudia and Louis, because Lestat is not happy with the hunting situation. He's like, "Hey, you be hunting dogs and stuff like that, and that's cool for you, but like, I'm still gonna eat humans, and Claudia's eating humans, and I feel like you be looking down on us." And Claudia's kind of like, "Yeah, me too. I feel like you look down on
yeah.
us too." So, so at least I can agree on something. And Louis has
Mhm.
to kind of bend his, to everybody else's will and say, all right, from now on, the new rule is that they're hunting people only.
Yeah. And I mean, again, there's not a shortage of people you can kill around here that again probably deserve it. They gave up on that idea a little bit too quickly for me. Like,
Oh yeah, you think so?
I think so. It's New Orleans. Like, there's probably racist people all around here
In the
in the
deep south.
1930s. Yeah,
Yeah, Louis could be a
they can
crusader for
pick.
justice. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
At some point, he's doing the Lord's work, but
say that.
oh, but yes, as we are seeing them play house, and as Louis is continuously trying to like push Claudia and Lestat together, Claudia finally reveals to Louis that yeah, you can't believe this man. She says he's the king of lies. And in fact,
Yeah,
he is still messing with Antoinette, who has told us that she is dead. Not only did he fake kill her, but he gave me her finger to like further solidify that this woman is dead. But Louis sees something more sinister in Lestat. He says, no, he wants us to know this. He wants us to know this because he's a fucked up individual. And what am I gonna do about it? What could I possibly do?
yikes. Like again, Louis like he's like, he wanted me to know this. I can't do anything about it, and goes back home. And it's like, are you? Why do you want this, Louis? Like, why?
Baby, I just don't get it. Do you enjoy being hurt? Like,
Exactly. Right. Oh
like
my
what are we
god.
doing? So at this point, Claudia's fed up. She's like, all right, Louis is a lost cause. He ain't going nowhere, but I can get the hell out of here. And so she tells Louis telepathically, I'm leaving. I'm catching the train out of here. I would love for you to come, but I understand that you can't do that. That's your business, not mine. I'm gonna miss you a lot. They have their final goodbyes as Lestat runs off to go hang out with his other family, Antoinette, and Claudia escapes on a train in the cargo area of a train, and she hasn't escaped long. Mari, were you surprised to see how quickly she returned?
I was like, look, Lestat got what he wanted. Claudia's gone. Louis is accepting that she's gone. But even, even as she walks away, Louis is like contemplating, sitting in the sun and getting rid of himself. And he's like, he basically says, I'm not gonna do that today. It'll be another day, but just not today. As he stumbles back home, sad that his sister left him, only to find she's sitting right there because Lestat went and retrieved her.
Okay. It is toxic and abusive, and I don't like it. Comma, but I respect the move because Lestat knows that there is no Louis without Claudia. He will not be happy without Claudia there. He's going to be a shell of himself. We did this for 7 years already. With Claudia gone and you walking around calling out to her telepathically, like every night, not talking to me, throwing jabs. There were definitely moments where Louis was being plain mean to Lestat. Like when I think Lestat was talking about his books and all the books that he read, and Louis was like, "Oh, you're just gonna read the first 10 pages like you always do and act like you got the book." I'm like, can you get off his neck?
That was crazy.
Yeah. So now Lestat is back, and he's like, hey, so is Claudia. She's gonna be here happy. You gonna be happy. We all gonna be happy together as a family. Mari, he went and snatched her off that damn train.
That was crazy. But I do love when Lestat gets this vampire. Like when he gets this evil, it's so good. That actor is so good.
He's so good.
So good. When he comes in holding that man's head and talking at that man's head, I was like, oh my God, this guy is scary. It was so good. But I was like, what, I was like, but Louis accepted it this time that she was leaving. No, okay.
No.
So we all just gonna be miserable together. Lestat said we are all gonna be miserable together.
Right. Damn it. And like I said, I kind of respect the move. I do, because he knows Louis. He knows Louis is not okay. He knows Louis will never be okay. And like you said, Louis probably is going to try to figure out a way out of this one too. He's not going to stick around forever sad about Claudia. He's always going to hold Lestat responsible for Claudia. And so this was not going to work. And so when Lestat goes and gets Claudia out of the cargo area of the train, he tells her, now look, you could go out into the world if you want to. But there are violent vampires out there that you've met some of, but like, I could be one of those people too, like that'd be crazy. And he's like, I ain't even gonna do you like Bruce did. And that's when we find out that Bruce, that other vampire, what he did to Claudia, I believe he broke her legs and as Lestat said, snatched her purse or something to that effect. And so we were like, oh, not the grape. And so Lestat says, I will do worse than that. I won't do any of what he did. I'm just gonna grind your bones into dust. So welcome back home, my dear sister.
That was
style points.
That was crazy. This man is crazy. And then that was the moment that Claudia was like, we're prisoners. And again, this is the moment we realized like just how powerful Lestat was. And we did get Lestat telling us his version of who his maker was, how he met his maker, how he says that basically his maker himself was like a serial killer of some sort. Collecting guys that looked like Lestat until one day he fed off Lestat many days, many nights, until one day he turned Lestat, and then Lestat says he gave him money and walked into a fire pit, which when he first says that we're like, oh, okay, but after he retrieves Claudia and Lestat are playing chess, and while they're doing so, she's having a full-on conversation with Louis. Claudia's like, I think he killed his maker, and I think that's because his maker kept him as a slave. So I think that's the only thing he knows how to do, and we are now his slaves. And she's like, and I'm going to kill him, and you want to kill him too, Louis. And we get the end of the episode with Louis being like, Yeah, I think we need to
I
kill
think
him.
I think he got to go. I think he has to die. And
Mhm.
yes, yes, Louis. I don't know how y'all are going to do it, but yes, we can't live like this. Y'all are prisoners in your own home. I said, like there's blame to be pointed on both sides of this relationship, but make no mistake, currently you are a victim, and you need to get the hell out of there. And you need to take your sister with you. So very intense 2 episodes. You know, we've come so far from like the like, oh, this is like him courting him and speaking French, and like, oh yeah, showing him how to be, proud of, being in a relationship, and and being a vampire. Like we have now reached the darkest timeline on this relationship. uh and so it's it's so fascinating to watch. Like you said, just very interesting character study about 3 different like very like headstrong individuals who are all trying to cohabitate and kind of have things their way. And when in reality, it's Lestat's way or the highway, because he is the most powerful. When at the end of the day, you can't leave an abusive relationship if they're just going to track you down and kill you. It's like a lot of people don't leave abusive relationships because it's like, where would I go that I could get away from this person who just so ingrained in my life to where they would know where I'm at. They could find me, and if they did find me,
Mhm.
what would happen to me? So very interesting. Love these 2 episodes, despite how dark and nasty they are.
Right.
But I really enjoy the present time conversations as well, because Daniel is going to be talking to Louis throughout. Obviously, he's the vampire that he's interviewing, but we will see Daniel interacting with Rashid a lot throughout this episode as well. And Rashid is not happy. He don't love Daniel. He tells
No.
Daniel, this book you're writing is basically a suicide note, because once the other vampires find out about this, they're coming for Louis. And this such a fascinating thing that, I mean, through 5 episodes, Mark, it never occurred to me that like once he writes this, he's basically doing an expose on being a vampire in general. You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah,
now it's
yeah.
like he's airing out dates and times. Daniel's trying to cross-reference and find historical things to go with it. Like
Mhm.
this is this Louis basically, is this his death wish?
Yeah, I think I he basically says it, right? He said it, we're witnessing his suicide. So, Louis, it sounds like Louis done. Louis just wants his story on paper, told so that he can just probably walk off into the sunlight himself at this point.
Yeah, the interaction between Daniel and Louis and even Rashid are so fascinating. Daniel calls Rashid a prostitute at one point. He's like, because Louis says, the part where Claudia, I believe when she gets ready to leave, or yeah, the first time, he says, and that was in San Francisco when we had our first conversation. That's when you told me to make you a vampire. Because you
Mhm.
said I didn't respect the gift. I wasn't using it. I was wasting it. Um, and he's like, yeah, I felt that way when I was 20 years old, but I don't want it now. He's like, I'm good. Like I'm okay, ready to die. But Rashid is kind of like they're being fed on while this is happening. He's providing, like, what did you call it? The people who provide the vampires with like blood, but like they don't kill them, they don't eat them, they just like suck on them every now and then.
Well, those are just like donors, but if they're
Yeah.
like special to the vampire, that could be your Renfield.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, Renfields, but Renfields sometimes are kind of like crazy. They kind of get addicted to it, and they
Hmm.
themselves kind of go a little crazy. But of human servants, human
Yeah.
servant. Yeah, yeah, there
Yeah.
it is. Human servant.
Well, this, Rashid, being the human servant, here, he's kind of mouthy, like he's interjecting. Louis putting him in his place a couple times, and Daniel says like, okay, well, maybe in my 20s didn't want it or whatever, but you got a new 20-year-old with you with Rashid. Give him the
Mhm.
power. Give it to your, he said, to your rent boy, meaning your in-home help, if you will. So, um again, very bold for a man who is standing inches away from a vampire, but he will eventually fall asleep, and we get like almost like a flashback or a dream of what happened in San Francisco when they first met. The dream consists of Louis and Daniel meeting at this bar that we know that they
Right.
met at, and that in like a moment of almost like flirting, Louis says like, well, I'm a vampire, and Daniel's like, oh, okay, well, I'm a journalist, and let me interview. And Louis like, I got drugs, and Daniel's like, bet. And so in that moment, he's about to go have his interview with the vampire, but he sees Rashid, 20-year-old Rashid, standing right there giving Louis his blessing before Daniel wakes up from his sleep. And yeah, Mari, what do you think this means?
I was so confused. I don't know. I was like, what's happening? I was so confused.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see the next episode because I was like, wait, so he met Rashid back then?
Maybe not, maybe dreaming it. Daniel is heavily medicated at this time. We see that Louis has brought in the I think it was the assistant prime minister's personal physician to
Who
help
was
Daniel,
not there?
who
Yeah.
was not there, who was definitely not in the room. But he brought him in, and that just shows you the amount of power and money that Louis has at his disposal, right? That he can bring in somebody of such high status to come and basically work in the presence of a known vampire. Like Daniel Malloy is constantly saying, like, that's a vampire, and he's saying it on the record. He's saying it for the tapes, just for this doctor to be like, nope, not me. Sorry, don't know what you're talking about. Not here. Nope, not here. So he's getting treatment. And so he does fall asleep while Louis is talking to him. So this could just be a dream. This could be some type of premonition. Who knows? But that's kind of how we leave the episode.
Yeah. So I'm really wondering what that means for Rashid here. So that was interesting because you try to explain it to me and I still don't understand how this is related to the original movie. I mean, I understand how it's related because he's saying that it's still the same them, but the original movie was so different. So I don't understand. Like,
I think the best way I could put it is like, you remember when we were watching House of the Dragon and you were like,
yes,
there is the book canon and then there is the show canon. The show canon is filling in all those blanks that the book left. And so although the book tells one story, the show is going in and kind of moving stuff around to kind of make it fit, whatever the show's narrative is, right? So, it's like we still have the original text, but now we're getting like more context from a more reliable narrator. I think that this movie is this show is kind of doing that. Whereas like the movie was Louis telling the story way back then. It's like romanticized version of the story or whatever the case may be. And now the show is Louis going back and being like, well, maybe some of that stuff didn't happen like that, and he's got the diaries to prove it, and things of that nature. So I think if that's the best way I could put it, it's like it's the same story, but like Louis giving a lot more nuance to the conversation. In fact, it may not even be true. There are definitely moments where Daniel challenges Louis on things and says like, you can't editorialize. You can't, just tell me this is exactly what happened, but then you don't even remember. Was it raining? Was it not raining? Was Lestat there? Was he not there? So it's a very it's like he's retelling a story that he heard a long time ago, or that he experienced a long time ago, and it looked different, after years and years and years of looking back on it and maybe retelling it or replaying it in your head, or maybe even editing it a little bit in your memory to make it not seem so bad.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, sure.
Yeah, sure. It's a good job. Look, my biggest takeaway is that
hopefully they'll explain it to me at the end. Like,
yeah, or like you'll just come to terms with it. Yeah. So yeah, that's episodes 5 and 6 for the most part. Is there anything else we missed that you wanted to talk about?
No, I think we got it all, to be quite honest.
Yeah, and so if you have been following closely, you know that next time we drop an episode, it will be the season 1 finale, episode 7. So Mario and I are only going to come in here and talk about one episode. We're going to make some predictions for season 2, and then we will be back after that to knock out the last few. And from what I can tell, the word on the street is that season 3 is only going to be 6 episodes. These people need their ass whooped. The show's too good. We need like what happened to 10, 12 episodes? Give me a little something. I need more. I just need more.
I'm so sick of waiting 2 and 3 years for 6 episodes, 8 episodes. Like, it is so stupid.
Yeah, it's tacky. They're the other shows in this kind of like Anne Rice cinematic universe right now. And I have not watched any of them. And so I'm hoping that any of our listeners have, watched it and can give us some good recommendations, because maybe we need to go watch some of these other shows prior to the drop of Interview with the Vampire season 3. But until then, Mari, we will be back to talk about the remaining episode next week. Let everybody know what you got going on in your world, and where they can find you in all your vampire texts. And wait, hold on, pause.
Yeah, I was about to say.
You got a book to promote.
I do. Like you just skipped over my
I
segment, but
said,
okay.
is there anything else you wanted to talk about? you know.
Well, I didn't. I thought you meant the thing. Anyways, yeah. So continuing on with my vampire recommendation corner here. I have one of my favorite. Actually, it's a graphic. This is a graphic comic slash novel. Um, it's based on a book series. It is my favorite. Mm, one of my favorite vampire hunter book series. It's the Anita Blake vampire hunter book series. It is actually 30 books deep right about now. Um, I would say if you like vampire politics mixed with like werewolf, shapeshifter, lycanthrope politics, this is a good series. However, comma the
Uh-oh.
first the first 10 books are very good. They're very gritty, very like vampire-y. It follows Anita Blake, who is a vampire hunter, but she's also a necromancer, so she can like raise the dead.
Ooh.
And it starts off, and she's like a cop ish. She's like a paranormal cop, and it starts off like a crime noir style type of urban fantasy where everybody knows about vampires. Vampires have rights, the same rights as people. Vampires have specific political alignments within like vampire culture.
Yeah.
It's so good. The first 10 books. Um, the books after that are okay, but it becomes more erotica. Becomes more
Mm-hmm.
smutty. So a lot of her fans and her listeners go back and forth on like, if they like the later stuff or not. I've
Mm-hmm.
actually met her in person. I had her sign a,
Oh.
a book for me. Um she herself as an author is kind of dubious at best. Unfortunately, after I did meet her and get her to sign a book, during Trump's first presidential reign. She seemed like she was kind of supportive of him,
Oh.
but yeah, but now she's on the other side of like she's not supporting of him as of like today. So I don't know, man. But all I do know is this is the first graphic novel that's based on her first book. Her first book's called Guilty Pleasures. This is all of those, they were made into comics. Her first 3 books, I believe, were made into comics, and they're really, really good. They're made into comics by Marvel. And this is volume 1 of the first book, Guilty Pleasures. And the comic is just amazing. This book series started in 93. So it's a very long running, again, just like Anne Rice, another long running
Mm-hmm.
vampire book series. I would suggest the graphic novels more than anything if you really want that type of like plot and not just sex, 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 sex. So yeah. So that is my recommendation, tangential recommendation, because again, iffy. But
Mm.
um I definitely love the series.
Okay. And
Mhm.
Mari, now that
Oh
we've
yeah,
officially wrapped up the book corner, what you got
yes.
going on in your neck of the woods?
You can find me over on Bluesky at Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2 like the number 2. You can also find me over on Crime Scene at crimescenepod.com. That's where you can go to subscribe to me and Sarah Carradine. We've been really having like a whole bunch of really heavy hitting like a whole bunch of like really heavy hitting properties. So this past week we uh kind of turned a corner and went from I think I said it, we covered like Perfect Neighbor, the
Oof.
Alabama Solution. Like we were covering like some really crazy stuff. So this past week we covered Don't Date Brandon with the wonderful Mark Blankenship. It's like it's a little bit better. It's on Paramount Plus, and it talks about like these 2 ex-wives who start a podcast about their former husband who basically is like a love con, not good guy. It's a 3-part docuseries. We had a lot of fun talking about it, to say the least. So just go to crimescenepod.com in order to subscribe, or go to the buymeacoffee.com/crimescenepod, where you get exclusive member only podcasts. Sarah and said Mark Blankenship watched all of Harlan Coben's TV shows. I don't know if you're familiar with Harlan Coben. He's an author who has like all these different deals on Netflix. He's yeah, you would, yeah, it's all these like Netflix movies that are Harlan Coben stories turned into movies. And they did a podcast about that. Coming up, Chappell will be joining us.
Hey.
And we're going to be doing a panel about authors, artists, questionable artists, and the panel is, can you separate the art from the artist? And we're going to be having a very candid talk about that panel coming up. We also were reached out to by a talking head from a documentary we covered back in September called Thirst Trap. And we'll be talking to her about what we didn't get to see in the documentary. So all of that is exclusively on buymeacoffee.com, where you can just sling us a couple bucks one time and get access to all of that. Or you can join and become a member again at any price point, whatever works for you. We get it. The economy, it's rough out here. Whatever price point works for you, you can come join our subscribers list and get access to all of that wonderful content.
All right. Yeah, check us out over there on Crime Scene. It's gonna be a good time. And as far as I'm concerned, there's a lot of recap kickback content coming your way. We had to take basically a week off while I was traveling to San Francisco to do the RHAP live show, but I'm back now and I got some recording to do. And so with the interview with the vampire coverage, we also have a special coverage of James Jones from Survivor and I talking about The Wire that will drop this week. It should already be out by the time you hear this. So check it out. I watched The Wire for the first time and I had some thoughts. And James Jones is The Wire enthusiast, kind of like Mari. So we talked about some of the high points of that show. And James seems like he's open to talking about other things too. So let us know in the comments on that one if you got any other suggestions for James Jones to talk to me about, or shows that I should watch for the first time. Let me know. And then of course, Gia and I are still talking about Abbott Elementary. Had to take a week off, so we will be back with 2 episodes of coverage for Abbott Elementary very soon. And then Chantel and I will be talking about The Flavor of Love season 2 again, because we are making our way through that season and it's so much fun. We do that live every time we record. So make sure you subscribe here on YouTube, youtube.com/@recapkickback, so that you can get notified whenever we go live and keep track of the podcast. But that's it. So Mari, we will be back again to talk about the finale of Interview with the Vampire. I cannot wait for you to watch it, and I cannot wait to talk about it with you and all of our fans that will be in the comments talking about it as well. But until then, for Mari and myself, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here. We will check you out next time. Peace. I've been trapped behind 12 Marias, isolated like it's North Korea. Smaller city with some bigger dreams. The wall is cracked, I'm looking in between it. The world is yours, but man, I gotta see it. They say it's hard, but man, I gotta see it. The air I'm breathing can't feel my chest. Wait on life, I wanna hold my breath. I'ma get in my goddamn self.